Have you ever found yourself questioning invariant? You thought you knew about love, loyalty, and desire. I didn't think it could happen to me after 40 years off marriage, I believed. Understood the boundaries of my heart, but life has a way of surprising. You doesn't it? This is a story about a secret, a dangerous, beautiful, heartbreaking secret that changed my life forever. I'm Donna, a wifey, a mother, and for the first time, I'm ready to tell the truth about what happens when temptation becomes too powerful to ignore. Mark and I have built a life together. He's the kind of man who takes pride in doing things the right way, a provider, a protector, a man who believes in loyalty above all else. For years, I thought that was enough. We had our rhythm, a routine, and it worked. But as time went on, I realized something was missing. It wasn't Mark's fault, really. Life has a way of dulling the spark Thetans burned so brightly. Mark loved me, I know that. But love when left unattended bombs predictable. Our conversations based transactional talk of bill schedules and the occasional health complaint. The laughter we once shared was replaced by silence, and though I still cared for him deeply, I couldn't help but feel invisible, as though I had become part of the furniture in my own home. Then there was Ethan, Mark's oldest friend. Ethan had always been part of our lives, a familiar face at holidays, a warm presence at our dinner table. He was charming in a way. Mark wasn't, effortlessly confident, with a spark in his eyes that made you feel seen. I had always thought of him as Mark's friend, nothing more, until one evening everything changed. It was a dinner at her house. Mark was in the kitchen pouring drinks while Ethan and I sat in the living room. Our conversation turned unexpectedly personal. He asked about me, about my dreams, my passions. It had been years since anyone had asked me those kinds of questions, and I found myself opening up in a way I hadn't in decades. Looking back, I realized that was the moment the shift began. The way he looked at me that night, curious, attentive. It was as though he could see the parts of me I had forgotten, and for the first time in years, I felt alive. I told myself it was harmless after all. What could possibly happen? And Ethan was Mark's best friend, and I was a devoted wife. But over the weeks that followed, I noticed the way our interactions changed. A lingering glance here, a casual touch there. They were small things, barely noticeable to anyone else, but to me they meant everything. The first time Weakest, it was raining. We had met for coffee, something we'd done before without a second thought, but this time felt different. There was a tension in there, unspoken, but undeniable. As we said goodbye, he reached for my hand, and before I could think, his lips were on mine. It was soft at first, almost hesitant, but then it deepened, and in that moment I forgot everything else. Allie could feel was him. I knew it was wrong. He knew the risks, but something inside me had awoken. A part of me I thought was long gone. With Ethan, I felt seen, desired, understood. He reminded me of what it felt like to be a woman, not just a wife or a mother, and as much as I tried to fight it, I couldn't stay away. Our meetings became a ritual, a quiet cave tucked away from prying eyes, a drive through the countryside where we could talk for hours. Once we rented a small cabin for an afternoon, hidden away from the world. In those stolen moments, it felt like we were the only two people who existed. He would hold me, kiss me, tell me things I hadn't heard in years, and for those few hours, I allowed myself to believe it was okay. But the guilt was always there, lurking in the back of my mind. Every time I returned home, Mark would greet me with his usual smile, and he would feel the weight of my betrayal pressing down on me. Yet even as I told myself I had to end it, I knew I couldn't. Ethan had become my escape, my secret, my everything. The lies grew easier over time, the quick excuses, the careful planning, but secrets have a way of catching up with you. One evening, Mark mentioned Ethan in passing, something about how grateful he was to have a friend like him. His words cut me to the core here. Was this man my husband who trusted us both completely, and we were betraying him in the worst possible way? He began to wonder, was it worth it? The passion, the excitement, was it worth risking everything I had built over a lifetime? And yet, even as I asked myself the question, I knew I didn't want to stop, because with Ethan I had found a part of myself thought I had lost forever. This is my story, a story of love, desire, betrayal, and the choices that define us. If you've ever found yourself questioning the lines between loyalty and temptation, I hope my story resonates with you. Life is complicated, and their heart doesn't always play by the rules. See if this story moved you, if it made you think about your own life and relationships. I invite you to join me on this journey. Subscribe to my channel for more stories that dive into the complexities of love and human connection. And please share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. Until next time, remember, life is messy, love is complicated, but every choice we make leads us to the truth we've been searching.